finding your and has been a part of the mantra for a number of years. And we want everyone to be an excellent clinician, and we want to give you the tools in the toolbox to do that. But we want you to find what else it is in medicine that will make your career complete. We have many opportunities, basic and clinical research, developments in medical education, administration, quality improvement, global health opportunities, both in a full global health pathway as well as a number of opportunities and electives as a third year, community service, and advocacy. And these things will all be profiled in the upcoming slides. The ACLT, or the Advocacy and Clinical Leadership track, is headed by Danny Zipkin. A really unique opportunity, and it's an application at the end of first year, and it gives you the opportunity to develop a platform that we present either on a state level in Raleigh or a national level. And the group alternates years between visits to DC and visits to Raleigh. Built into the ACLT are seminars in health policy, leadership, teaching during 1/2 day in those 2 weeks, as well as the advocacy project that we outlined there. And you see a picture of last year's ACLT group in Washington, D.C.
COVID safe, outdoors, masks off for just a second. One of the other ands that is prominent in our program is being involved in the community. And last year, in collaboration with the Departmental Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Anti-Racism Education Subcommittee, we started a teaching program at the City of Medicine Academy, which is a health careers high school located right next to Duke Regional Hospital, so just down the street from that hospital. And our residents and some fellows take time during their +2 blocks to go into the freshman and sophomore health sciences classes and teach on a variety of topics as directed by their curriculum and as requested by the students. And this has been an extraordinarily popular addition to our ambulatory rotation. The first year, 30 residents participated, and this year we have 35 residents who are signed up to participate. We are working now that the COVID rules have relaxed somewhat to have student shadowing opportunities coming up as well. And so I would estimate, based on where things are going, by the time you would be here as a resident, we would have active students from this high school able to shadow both in our clinics and on some of our clinical rotations at the hospital.
Resident research is another and a prominent part of our program. And really the goal is to lay the foundation for successful future careers in academic medicine. We have a associate program director, Nia Mitchell, who is dedicated PD for resident scholarship. And funding for resident research projects is twice yearly. You can see some of the highlights from 21-22 in the panel. There were 28 faculty resident research grants that were awarded, another 10 STED resident research grants, which culminated in 34 national presentations and 12 NC ACP posters. Resident research, or the faculty resident research grants are highlighted here. And I know that's probably difficult to see the exact titles of each, but I will tell you that across the health system, really from all of the subspecialties, there are faculty members doing research with our residents.
We also have residents where research is a very large part of their and these residents are often MD PhD trainees, but some of our trainees have a significant background in research, but didn't go for a full PhD. And these residents elect to participate either in our PSTP Scholars Program, which is generally speaking, doing 2 years of clinical medicine and then moving on to fellowship, where an additional year of research is part of that fellowship. Or we have trainees who choose to participate in one of our 3 NIH-funded R38 opportunities. And we have these actually add an additional year to residency, but in that additional year, you have anywhere from 12 to 18 months of dedicated research time. And clearly that would cut back a little bit on clinical time in order to fit that into 4 years. We have R38 pathways through the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute, the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, as well as the National Institute of Aging. And you can see here, currently in the program, we have 8 residents who are participants in our PSTP pathway and specialties ranging from geriatrics to pulmonary critical care, to allergy immunology and infectious diseases.
The Comprehensive Introduction to Clinical Research course is a unique elective offered for second years in our program. It's a 4-week elective, and it's done in two separate sessions, each with 12 to 13 of our second years. You have a project-based clinical research and biostatistics course that is built into the day, taught and led by many of our DCRI faculty. And about 2/3 of the residents who participate are able to go on and write resident research grants that subsequently get funded.
Our Learning Health Systems Training Program is another opportunity to grow one of the ands that we have here. And this is a program where we actually meet during the noon conference hour across the course of a year with residents and fellows who are interested in learning the skills to use the electronic health record as a data science tool and to answer questions about the practical care of our patients here at Duke and in our clinics across the Duke system. This particular program doesn't require experience in bioinformatics, but what you can see from some of the graduates of our program who also graduated from the Learning Health Systems Training Program, many of those individuals actually do go on to make data science a prominent part of their career. This is typically joined by residents either in their second or third year of training. And actually one of our 4th-year management and leadership pathway residents, who you'll see in a slide coming up, has a focus on data science. It's Dr. Jo Cavalier, and she is now a resident lead for the Learning Health Systems Training Program this year. So if this is an interest of yours, there's an opportunity to learn, to become connected with this community, to do a project and actually grow your career along this path.
The Global Health Residency Program is highlighted in the next few slides. And I will say Duke has a long track record of incorporating global health experiences as part of residency that dates more than 30 years. And really, we strive to train the next generation of residents from all clinical disciplines to become innovative and vibrant leaders in the field of global health. You see a picture, from a few years ago with Titus, who's one of our graduates and cardiology faculty now. And the global health sites are highlighted here. A total of 8 international sites and 1 in Shiprock, New Mexico, but sites in Nicaragua, Tanzania and Kenya, Sri Lanka, Bangkok, Thailand, Beijing, and in Australia.
The Management and Leadership Pathway for Residents, or MLPR, is a 4-year opportunity for our residents who have either a graduate degree in business administration or hospital administration or equivalent experience. And you can see a number of our trainees who have gone through the program shown here. And what these trainees do starting in their second year is begin to weave in MBA type rotations throughout the hospital into their clinical work. And so ultimately you end up with 18 months of those 4 years where you are embedded in and taking charge of projects that are moving across the health system. So for example, Kevin Shaw, who is now actually the head of Duke Primary Care, when he was a resident in the management and leadership pathway, he actually authored Duke's response and way for us to participate in the Affordable Care Act. As a program director, I wasn't sure they were going to give him back to us to continue residency because he did such a great job. Adia Ross, who you see here, is one of the first graduates of the MLPR program, and she actually organized the reimagining of our Duke outpatient clinic, leading to have embedded medicine and psychiatry, as well as a number of other innovations within that clinic. And she is currently the chief medical officer at Duke Regional Hospital. And so those of you who are out there with management experience, this might be a pathway that is of interest to you. We have 4 residents who are currently participating in the MLPR. Joe Cavalier, who I mentioned earlier, who will be taking a job next year here in both hospital medicine and working with our EHR and data science group. Hubie Haywood is a 3rd-year resident in the program and will be planning on fellowship after he graduates. And Aaron and Garrett are 2nd years in our program, so they're just starting their first management and leadership rotations in the coming months.
And this slide shows you the volume of each of those pathways, which I think is incredibly impressive. As you can see, the newer R38 have had 5 residents participate so far. And these go back 7 years to 2015, I should say. 12 have participated in the PSTP, or the Physician Scientist Training Program, 13 in the Management Leadership Pathway, and 12 through the full Global Health residency. As you can see, Learning Health, 35 over the last 7 years, and 70 in the full Global Health electives, and 72 in the ACLT, or the Advocacy and Clinical Leadership track.
Mentorship is really an important part of our program. There's no way you can figure out all these things that you might want to do and have the reflection of how to make that happen without outstanding mentors. And we take this process very seriously. There's a multi-layered process for advising and mentoring here. And so upon joining our program, everyone is assigned an advisor who is either myself or another member of our program leadership team. And it's our job to be the person who checks in with you, who reviews evaluations with you, and sees how you're doing and helps you begin to figure out how you want to build your and importantly, how you're doing personally as well. We'll talk in the next couple of slides about our other program features, including the coaching program that help you grow throughout your residency. And then for our specialty tracks, our physician scientists can join the Robert J. Lefkowitz Society, which is a group of physician scientists across various departments that come together for a variety of programming and community building events. The MRRC that we mentioned earlier provides mentorship, training, and community building for underrepresented trainees and faculty. And then the Program for Women in Medicine encompasses residents, fellows, and faculty across the Department of Medicine. This particular slide just shows some of the Duke family tree as it might relate to mentoring in the perspective of research and building a career that way. And shown here in the big circle is Dr. Jennifer Reimer, who is one of our former residents, chief residents, and cardiology fellows. She's now on cardiology faculty. She could have a whole tree of mentors above her, but since she has become a fellow and then faculty member, she's had the opportunity to mentor a number of Duke residents who are shown here, many who've gone on to fellowship and are now faculty, as well as medical students. And she serves as a mentor for their CICR projects, for a variety of other projects, gets them on podium presentations nationally, and serves as a mentor for their resident research grants. I had a hard time choosing which, mentorship family tree I was going to put on this slide, because this story repeats itself over and over again, with our trainees learning from those above them and then going on to become mentors here themselves. And that's honestly one of the coolest parts about watching everyone's development here, is from resident to being in the big circle on the mentoring slide. As I mentioned earlier, we also have a faculty resident coaching program. This is borrowed directly from the curriculum that was developed by Dr. Carrie Palomara at Massachusetts General Hospital. It's now been present in our program for over 5 years, and we've trained over 100 Department of Medicine faculty to serve as trainee coaches. And so upon matching here, you fill out some information so that we understand what and characteristics might be beneficial for you as a coach. And then together with the coaching team, we perform a coach match, which is a really fun exercise for us, putting you all together with people who will be there for you throughout your 3 years of training, working with you to help you identify your strengths, help you think through how you might want to grow, what works for you, what doesn't, in a completely non-evaluatory relationship. And so the coach pairings over the years, send us emails about meetings that they've had and stay connected after they graduate. And this has been a really tremendous addition to the program, because it gives our residents a space to talk about the kinds of things that they may not want to necessarily discuss with someone who might be writing them a letter for fellowship or a job and things like that.